All right. Well, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another episode of The Mission. Last week, we went over Luke 5, verse 27 through 31. So not a ton, but we hit on a lot of good information. But this week, we'll be going over Luke 5, 33 through 36. And we may even be able to touch on chapter 6. Sorry, chapter 6. So, but before we do that, and we can go ahead and pray. Ben, would you like to kick us off in prayer?
Absolutely. Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for letting us come here and praise your name and learn from your word, Lord. Please keep our friends and family safe as they're traveling and, as they're dealing with different medical conflicts. I personally have a bunch of people that are going through cancer treatment. Our pastor's going through chemo right now, and my grandfather has an eye condition that he's healing from. Let them all be healed miraculously, Lord, and let them use these points of difficulty in their life to praise your name, to grow in their faith in you, and to use it as message to teach others and to minister to others and to help them come to faith in you as well, Lord. Keep their families strong and help them get through these difficult times. As the world has continued to deal with the conflict in Iran, let everything come to an end peacefully. Let everyone that is dealing with the repercussions of it be helped in any way that you see fit, Lord, and let the world come together in these difficult times to continue to live the lives you call us to lead, Lord. Please keep Matthew safe as he's coming back from Colombia, and that the time that he has there is used successfully and in your name, Lord. We pray in your name, Yeshua's name. Amen.
Amen.
Mhm.
So last time we started over here asking Ben what his past weeks were. Mitchell, do you have anything, since we're all still here and we're doing this same day, do you have anything in the upcoming week that you're excited for? Not excited for?
I know. I'm gonna out you a little. You discussed like maybe having a guys' night just for like kind of
Yeah.
the guys here and all. I think that'll be really cool. Hopefully Ben can make it and see your house.
Yeah, when
Are
is this? What's
Are
going
you
on?
are you free? Are you free on Saturday?
Next Saturday?
Yeah.
I think so.
I think
I got two,
So
maybe three.
Mm,
We'll see. We'll see.
just because I feel like
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, Kayla's gonna be out of town, and so I was like, why don't I just have all the guys over? Like we haven't
Sleepover.
we haven't all like been together in a while, so I figured like we could cook some burgers and have a fire and just hang out. So, sorry, Matthew. I think he's gonna be coming back from Colombia.
He'll make
I
it.
did text him and I was like, "What time are you getting back?" And he's like, 11 p.m. And I was like, "Yeah, we're old now. No one's gonna be there at 11."
and like
So.
I mean, he can come over and he can sleep over.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a guest room. So.
we can always run it back. Like we all have our own places.
Yeah.
It was
We'll do another one. So
I was going to say, when is the group dinner with the spouses?
I'm hoping to have all y'all over maybe like first weekend in June.
Okay.
I have a question for you. What
Yes.
are you, or do you and Meredith have any plans the Friday before your wedding, the day before?
So the rehearsal dinner day? June 26th, or are we talking about June 19th?
Talking about, well, okay, never mind. We'll talk about this after.
Okay.
I completely forgot about the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, you will be there.
Yes, I will be at the rehearsal dinner.
You should be there.
Will be there. But Zach and Olivia were staying with us.
Yeah.
And so we were thinking about doing like a maybe like something at the house. Just but
Cool.
I don't know. We can talk about that later. All right, so you're looking forward to that?
and some lawn mowing probably.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Some therapeutic.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I got you.
Get the tractor back out.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you listen to music when you do it or no?
I
Yeah.
love music
Yeah.
while I do it.
So is your parents' tractor or is it your tractor?
It's my tractor. It's back there.
Brother, where
You
is
can't
this guy?
you can't see it from here, but
bright
I
orange.
can get it out before y'all leave if you want to see it.
Yeah.
Drive
So
it around.
Mitchell's parents live down the road.
Yeah, 3 doors
So,
down.
yeah, so they share a bunch of stuff. So I don't know what's his and who's. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he'll show up and we're like, "Oh, you got a new car." Hey, you got a new SUV? He's like, no, it's my parents. I had to take my normal car in the shop. Like, oh, okay. And he'll come back over like, who's this? What is happening?
Yeah. I like to switch stuff out, and then me and Dad share stuff. So he'll come get trucks to use, and I'll go get trucks of theirs to use. So
That's awesome.
What about you, Mr. Monzel?
I'm working on some stuff at the apartment, so I'm looking forward to that. Just getting, or not apartment, home. Looking to get
It's at
that.
home now.
Yeah, get that done. And Spurs are going to the Western Conference Finals. So I'm
Hey,
excited
Whitby.
about that.
I forgot you're a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's been a while. And I have faltered a little bit while not watching as much in the past couple of years, but now they're doing well. So
That's
You-
wonderful.
I'll bandwagon and come back. Here we go.
You guys are going to win like 2 titles in the next 12 years.
It would be
And
nice if we could.
It would be great.
It's been
You got-
2014. So crazy thing is, the day I moved to Tennessee, we were driving up here, long drive from Dallas. We get into the hotel because we were staying in a hotel for a couple weeks while we were waiting for the house to get ready. That day that we got in was the same day we won our last championship. We watched them win the who'd they beat? They
You
beat
better not be moving.
They beat the
if that's what
Miami-
you're saying.
no. I
Don't
sure hope
move.
not. No.
Miami Heat.
Yeah, they
Well,
beat
he
the-
was moving. He just moved to a home.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. There you go. So
They beat Miami.
hopefully, I mean, last night I was sitting there. It was a great night. I was sitting there building IKEA furniture, watching the Braves and the San Antonio Spurs.
Nice.
So couldn't get any better. Still got more IKEA furniture to build. So, but yep, that's all I've got.
What about you, BP?
No, you go first.
No, you go first. I opened up.
So, Meredith and I are going to her coworker's wedding today at 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
So it'll be fun. Congrats to them. I don't know them very well. It's one of Meredith's coworkers.
Is she in the wedding?
No.
Okay.
No. I think they invited the entire office. They're an older couple, so
No.
they were like, hey, we're like, frankly, a bit more traditional. They're like, we're inviting everybody that we know. So it should be fun. I don't think it'll be anything too crazy. Other than that, like, we're Sunday. I feel like we had something else going on, but I know that we're just going to be obviously church, but then we're going to be just housekeeping stuff. I feel bad for Meredith because she's lived in her apartment for 3 weeks and it doesn't feel like we fully moved her in because we went from like moving day happens. You have your marathon that same day I couldn't make, and I'm so sorry for that.
It's all
I wish
good.
I could have.
It's all good.
And then like the next week, she had something else going on. We had something else. Oh, it was that Sunday we had like the bridal party or no
Oh, bridal shower. Yeah.
bridal shower. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's right.
And
We
Virginia
I
made
took
it.
Virginia to that.
Yeah. And
She
so-
said you were there, and I was like, "Oh, Ben was there."
Yeah, I do. I didn't.
Were you
like,
the only guy there?
I was the only guy there. The thing is that I don't know how bridal shower works. Like, I've never been to one. So Meredith the day before is like, if you want to, surprise me, like, that'd be great. And I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to surprise you? I'm like, I thought this was like, hey,
This is the girl.
the girls, like, you don't want men there. I didn't think they wanted me there. And then we went to her, like, she had a cousin that, it was like a first cousin once removed that couldn't make it that Sunday because they have like a 11 or 10-month-old that, like, they're like, hey, like, we can only do certain timings. They're like, we're going to meet you on Saturday for dinner if we can. Everyone's like, that's great. We visited them on that Saturday. It was her grandma's sister's daughter. And her sister is like 18 years younger than her, 16 years younger than her. So her daughter is basically Meredith's age,
Okay.
right? And so they're basically cousins. And like Joey has the same situation. The fact is that, like, with all of that, we saw a bunch of her extended family there, and they're like, "Are you coming tomorrow?" I thought it was just the ladies that are supposed to come, and they're like, "No, it's for you too. You should come." And I had like 5 or 6 different women that are like, "You should come tomorrow." Like, they were like, "We're expecting you to be there tomorrow." And so I was like, "Okay, I guess I'm going."
Yeah.
It was like, I'm happy to be there, but it is like, I thought it was just for the girl. I didn't know what was going on, so
That's
I
what I
didn't.
thought too.
I didn't know I was going until the day. Like, we left at like 10 p.m. I'm like, I guess I'm going. And Mary's like, yeah, you should go.
How was it?
It was good. Yeah, like, it went great. Because I haven't talked about it yet on here because it's been a while since I've been on. But yeah, Emma was able to make it. Joey's spouse, and then your wife was able to make it too. Should probably specify wife for the two. But the Virginia was able to make it, which was great. And she was like, "Yeah, Tanner's biking on a path back there."
Yeah.
We're like, "Where?"
She's like, I don't want to go to Murfreesboro by myself. And I was like, well, I'll take my bike and I'll go out there and we can just have dinner afterwards. And it was nice.
Yeah.
I'd never biked in Murfreesboro, so it was
The
it was beautiful. They
Yeah.
got a nice path out there and everything.
It was super funny. I asked Virginia, I'm like, Tanner bikes to work. Are you biking to work? She goes, no. She goes, I don't know why he does that.
Yeah, she gets on to me. She's like, it's not safe, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's a little, I am cheap, but you have to pay $4 for parking at work. I'm like, this is work. Why would I have to pay
Wait, they don't reimburse you?
$4 a day?
A day?
Yeah, it comes out. I mean, I'm only there 2 days a week, but still,
But they don't reimburse you.
it comes out of your paycheck.
Oh, dude, I'd bike to work.
So I'm
too.
biking
I'd
there.
to work.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, and at the biking to work is okay. Like it's not that bad. But when you get there, if you're a little sweaty, you got to handle that. But we do have a shower there, so I could take a shower when it starts getting super hot outside. But when you get done with the day of work and you bike home,
You just zoom in.
it's zooming and you're having so much fun. And there's no traffic when you're on a bike because you just zip on by everybody and it's so much fun. So
That's
went off
valid.
topic there.
Dude, I find it so crazy that they make you pay for parking.
Yeah,
They
I
pay
thought
you to
the
work
same
there.
thing.
Ma-
Thought the same.
so-
There's different rates too. Like you can pay a daily rate or you can pay a monthly rate. And the monthly rate is interesting because please don't fire me. Because you pay based off of like your salary. If you have a certain salary, you pay a certain amount. So
Oh, so you pay a ton then, huh?
no, I pay the daily because I'm only there 2 days a week. So that's really not that bad. But if you bike to work, they give you incentives. Like if you ride the bus, you bike to work, you carpool, you get like an extra. They give you extra money on your paycheck.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
nice.
there's so many things that Vanderbilt does that's amazing. Of like, if you do certain things outside of work, they'll give you certain incentives because they want you to be healthy and they want to be able to report that they're doing so much things for like the environment and things
Yeah.
like that. So like they keep track of everybody's commute. If you have to fill it out yourself, but if you put in the stuff for your commute, they'll be like, you saved so many pounds of carbon dioxide this year.
wow.
That's pretty cool.
See, it makes
Anchor
more.
down, baby.
I was about to say, it
down.
makes more sense if they're going actively, they don't want you to drive there.
There's
As a
also like
cultural
Vanderbilt's
thing.
very landlocked, so there's not a lot of parking, which is another thing of like why we're only there 2 days a week because especially like during the summer, like the kids just graduated and so finding a parking spot is so easy, it's nice. But during the year when there's that many people there, grad students, researchers, professors, all those people, there's a lot of cars.
And it's
So,
only going to get worse.
yeah, because we're growing and we're awesome. So
Yes. See, I feel bad for the people that live in like Mount Juliet or Lebanon that
yeah.
have to go in every day.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, if they have to drive all that way, I might as well save them a parking spot. So if I can do that, then why not?
Dude, so thoughtful. And you're making extra money. They're paying me to bike to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Bet you, Dawson, what you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully everyone's available for Saturday, so that'll be fun. Memorial Day weekend's coming up, so pretty excited for
Yeah.
that. I wanna go do some fishing with my dad, but I haven't asked him yet. But I'm sure if I mentioned, hey, you want to go fishing, he'll be like, yeah, help me in. So
Where would y'all go? Don't give away your fishing hole, but like,
no, I don't know. There's
Percy Priest Lake.
it's a haul. It's like 2.5 hours from here. And I would only go for like a couple hours.
geez, you going to Pickwick? Where are you going?
No, I'm going up to Dale Hollow.
Oh yeah.
So, I don't know. I haven't thought too much about that yet.
Nice.
But looking forward to that. And Ben, I texted you about this yesterday, but I'm covering for one of my coworkers, really close coworkers, is out all this week. And he has a pretty big role within our department. And so my boss called me the other day and was like, hey, by the way, you're going to be on the front lines doing his work for
Let's
him.
go.
And I was
Stepping
like,
up.
I already have, my plate is already overflowing, but we'll see how it goes, I guess. So Um, yeah, I'm not necessarily looking forward to the work, but texted Ben last night. I'm gonna have to rely on God a lot in those times because it's gonna be a very stressful week. So,
Mm.
but it'll be fine. We'll get through it. It's no big deal. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
Nice.
So
You jump into it.
yeah, let's jump in. I'll read this section for us. But so last week we talked about being humble, getting rid of our pride, and then trying not to add any more two by fours in our eye that we already have.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't listen to that one, go listen to that one and come back and join us here. But so starting in Luke 5, verse 33, they said to him, John's disciples often fast and pray, and so do the disciples of the Pharisees, but yours go on eating and drinking. Jesus answered, can you make the friends of the bridegroom fast while he is with them? But the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken from them. In those days they will fast. He told them this parable. No one tears a piece out of a new garment to patch an old one. Otherwise they will have torn the new garment, and the patch from the new will not match the old. And no one pours new wine into old wineskins. Otherwise the new wine will burst the skins. The wine will run out, and the wineskins will be ruined. No, new wine must be poured into the new wineskins, and no one after drinking old wine wants the new, for they say the old is better.
This section has always seemed very confusing to me. And I know I've done research on it, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but like, especially so the whole thing about a new garment, like replacing a piece on an old garment with a new one, that a lot of that's about like their like leather um, wineskin pouches. And I forget exactly. So new wineskin, new you can't put new wine into old wineskins, or else like the gases and stuff expand, which is what causes it to burst.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you can't put a new garment on part of an old one, or else it like I think it shrinks as it gets older, so then it'll just pull away and like basically cause the hole again.
Yeah.
But then the part that really confused me is verse 39. Because in thinking about the covenants, like old new covenant, it's no one having drunk old wine immediately desires new, for he says the old is better. So I forget how that's reconciled. I think it's essentially coming off the conversation of the Pharisees that they were so like stuck on the old law that they were like, man, like this is our thing, like we don't want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like we know obviously the new covenant is better and like Christ is the way. But I think it's putting it in like their perspective of like, oh, we don't want to update to the new because it's not as good or whatever they were thinking. But yeah.
Interesting. So that's your take on it. My initial take, because I haven't read this one in a while, but my initial take would be um, that once we give our lives to Christ, that's when we have the new wineskin. That's when we have the new piece of garment. Um, and that once we make that decisions in our hearts, in our minds, and accept Jesus Christ as Lord, like that's when Jesus, I think, is laying out the blueprint for us. Like you can't go back to what you were before.
Yeah.
You just can't. Like it's not going to taste the same. It's not going to feel the same. Um, and I think here again, like we talked about last week or last episode, like Jesus is calling us out in these moments. Um, but I think again here he's calling us out and it's like, um, this is how you're supposed to live. And once you cross that line, and once you've accepted me into your heart as your Lord and Savior, the old ways, it shouldn't feel the same. Um, it's not gonna be the same. Um, but if you're still falling back into that, and that feels good, and that feels right, and I like the old ways better. Okay, maybe we need to rethink things a little bit here. Maybe we need to reevaluate. That's my initial thought on it.
Yeah, I think you're dead on. Because through all of this, I don't know for sure that the old wineskin is like Jewish law or the law of Moses, and then the new is like Christ, the new covenant. And so putting a new piece on an old garment, like putting a new piece on the old law, does not work because it's still the law, right? And then, which is kind of what the Pharisees are trying to do. And then putting new wine into an old wineskin, which is like your old self, I would assume. I don't know for sure that that doesn't work either. Like it's gonna burst you, break you down, whatever. Which hopefully it does, because then you'll come to Christ.
Yeah.
And then which it shows new wine put into new wineskins, which would be new covenant into a renewed person, like you're saying. That I think that's exactly what it's talking about. And after rereading verse 39, mine says, "And no one having drunk old wine immediately desires new, for he says the old is better." So what I missed there was the immediately. That it's not saying they think for sure like the old is better. Like it does say that at the very end. But looking back, they don't immediately desire new. So when we first come to Christ, we don't immediately desire things of him necessarily. Now you may, but largely kind of like you're saying, like we're comfortable in like the law, our life prior to Christ. So it does take some like sanctification. It does take some learning and growing. Because like you say, like eventually we will get to where, hey, that new wine tastes so good, we don't want to go back.
It's interesting that yours says immediately because mine doesn't. So I think I would have had a different take if that's what it said.
It says,
that's what mine said.
Let's see, verse 39. Yeah, it says certain text immediately. So
Does yours? Does that one say immediately?
This one does not.
This is New King James.
Huh.
Yeah.
Are both these NIV?
This one's NIV, this one's CSB.
Okay.
Okay. I'll say, I think I'm just going to reiterate what you guys have been saying, where I think it is the old law going, hey, we have these set rules and they're super rigid. And to be honest, not to call it the Catholics, but in the same way that it's like, I think they have taken what's in the Bible and extrapolated it to other things and then gotten so rigid to the point that they're saying like, hey, if you try to impart the new law into that, it's going to burst and break. And it's a bit where they have just taken what's in the scripture and extrapolated to other things and kind of not overbearing, but to the point where it's all encompassing in everything, to a point where no discussion or thought or change can happen. And so he's coming in and he's saying like, hey, there needs to be that new covenant, that change. But you all, if you try to put it in your current structure, will break it. So to them, they are rejecting the new structure because they know that the current way of life cannot be kept. And they don't want, to your point at the end, they go, when they see the new law, they don't actually want to have it because it'll break the old one. So they just go, oh, the old is better.
Yeah.
The old garment's better. The old law is better. The old wine is better, when truly we know it's not.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, like, after you said that, I'd never thought of it that way, as in the law. And I like that a lot because I was thinking of it in a different way. But now that I look at it, I'm kind of thinking of it in both ways. So kind of what you said with the wineskins and then what you said with the wedding. Or I'm relating what you said to the wedding. So, like, I think the wedding guess is just perfect. Like, this is the perfect analogy because when you're getting married, and Ben, you'll experience this very soon. It's like,
oh baby,
it's so exciting. It's so awesome because you're about to enter into this sacrament or covenant or marriage contract, however you want to talk about it, which is such a beautiful thing. And it's a huge celebration. You're going to be with all your family and your friends, and it's fantastic. And so you're celebrating that. And then it says, when the bridegroom is taken away from them. So you're going to go away from that wedding, and then now it's time to put in the work because marriage is not easy. And you're going to have to sit there, and you're going to have to go through conversation after conversation, date after date. You're going to have to work really hard on that marriage. And so I feel like that relates perfectly to this because we need to be working super hard now that he has ascended and taken up to heaven and sacrificed himself for us to get in the word and get in our practices, our Christian practices of helping and loving other people. And then the wineskins, if I was going to relate it to like the modern day, is it's also same to us of we need to put the work in. So like if I think of like if I was going to paint a door or if I was going to paint a cabinet and it's already painted, if you just put paint on top of it, that paint is either going to crack or peel or something like that, and it's not going to look good. And that might be your faith. Your faith could peel, crack, fall apart instantly. You have to put in the work to sand down that door, sand down that cabinet, or whatever you're working on, and then paint on top of it so that it is clean again, and it's going to stick. It's kind of like the garment where if I'm thinking about, or look, I've never done like leather works or anything, but when people are putting on new soles to a shoe, they literally take that piece of leather and they like grind it down so that the cement glue will stick to it better, and then the two pieces will work together. So you have to put in that work so that your faith will kind of come together and stay. Is kind of how I was thinking of it.
That's going to be a short right there. It's going to be clean.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was kind of long.
Well, I think you just read my mind because I was going to ask you guys, like, what? I guess Jesus talks to us in parables so that we can understand it. And I feel like a little kid here. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Because I read just past the first where it talks about the bridegroom and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's kind of confusing. Oh, but I get this down here, so thanks for explaining that.
I do feel like so many times in our life, like when you turn 16, you're like, all right, I got my license. I'm done. Like this is it right here. Then you turn 8. Well, it's not 18 anymore. 21, you get to drink and you can buy cigarettes or something. Don't do that. And you're like, all right, we did it. All right, we're here. And then it's like you get older and you're like, oh, I got married. We're done. No, there's so much left to do. There's so much more work to do. So
I'll say the irony of the parables is like Jesus will talk to the disciples in parables and they all go, we understand. And he goes, no, you don't. He goes, I know you don't understand. He goes, but you will.
Yeah.
That's how I feel every time I read a parable. I'm like, I don't understand, but one day I will.
Yeah. Yeah, for you accounting guys, like even for us, like I'm sure you guys have, maybe you haven't, but gone through like a system change. The way you guys do things.
Or every time you switch jobs, another
Yeah.
company is going to have
So
a different
You go from
software.
Microsoft to Oracle.
Like what you're
to
talking about is just
Amazon.
being comfortable. Like what you said, we're just comfortable. And then the new system, or if a company puts a new process in place to better things, it's like, oh man, there's some growing pains. Like there's some stuff that's going to get missed. It's going to get messed up. This is going to suck. We'll see how it turns out in the end. But like for me, especially if something changed at work, I'm just like, I have to do it like that now.
Yeah. I love it.
I don't want to do that's going to suck. Like I can do this other way so much faster. I know how to do it. I can do it without even thinking about it. And I think that just relates to like everything that we've been talking about, the new system, the new way of life. And I think it ultimately goes back to being uncomfortable. Like being a Christian and following Jesus it's not going to be comfortable all the time. So
my old CFO at the Catholic Diocese of Memphis, on the back of his door was my favorite sign. He had this big sign on the back of his door, and I think I told you this before, but it said, "We've always done it this way." And then it had a huge red cross through it, like, that's not allowed in this office. You can innovate, you can come up with new things, or if something's going to work in the long haul, we'll put in the work for it. So I like that he had that.
I'll say that there have been times at work where I had that issue where I'm like, hey, like I want to do this thing, right? And our VP of Finance will go, then do it. He's like, I don't want you just to do what I tell you to. He's like, I want you to do that. I want you to make things easier for everybody if you know how.
Dude, it's so refreshing when you have a boss like that too. They're like, yeah, innovate, you can do it.
Yeah, and I think that's the fun too, is that like, man, especially bosses that are like kind of hands off of like, dude, as long as you get it done.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. I think too, like all of what y'all said, it's like the believer's journey. That like, it's such a contentment in where we are, but then, like y'all said, realizing that, like, hey, we are gonna be the people in verse 39 that say, hey, the old is better. But like Tanner, what you said about the bridegroom, that, Jesus came and died for our sins, and then when we really come to know that and start to put in the work into that relationship is when it's like, hey, like I can taste and see that he is good. Like, know that even if it's not comforting, not that Jesus isn't comforting, he
Yeah.
definitely is, but that the situation I'm in or like whatever I'm called to do might not be comfortable. That, hey, that's okay, because our reward is great in heaven for
Mhm.
those who do as well.
There is a feast waiting for us at the end.
Oh yeah. And
Oh,
that's something like I need to hear every day because I'm like, man, I don't want to do that, but like rewards in heaven.
it's so much easier to sit on your phone and scroll TikTok in your bed than go to Columbia and go build
Literally.
Oh,
houses.
shout out Matthew. Which he's
Dude.
still, by the time this episode comes out, he'll be back.
Yeah.
But
Ben, you've been scrolling on TikTok and we barely have any views.
No,
on our
I don't have TikTok.
What's going on?
I don't
here?
actually. I haven't had TikTok for
Okay,
like
all right.
maybe a year now.
Go follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, I don't know why.
No, we talked about making that TikTok for this, and the same week, Meredith's like, we got to get off all social media. And so I got off everything. And she's back on Instagram, but I'm not. I'm not.
Good
on
job,
it.
Ben. Good job.
I feel like once you're off of it, it's easier to stay off. But
Dude.
like that initial like jump.
The
But
one
granted, I'm back on it, so like
the issue is
But-
literally like I can do. I'm so good with every app besides YouTube because I do
Oh,
use
yeah,
YouTube for 50% educational content, but then the other 50% is brain rot. And I'm like, dude, is it worth me? Because YouTube specifically won't let you turn off shorts, and for this it might be good, but there's so many things that are just brain rot that I want to get rid of, and I'm better at not watching brain rot on a normal YouTube video.
Or scare tactic, where it's like, this is happening in the world. You should be
Yes,
mad. And it's like,
oof.
geez, get
And
off my feed. I'm praying about it.
I just want to listen to videos for 2 hours while I'm working in the background. I want to listen to somebody's podcast while I'm working. I don't want to be inundated with the YouTube shorts because that's typically what the worst.
That's how you ruin your attention span and your dopamine. Yeah.
I already have ADHD. I don't need any help,
But the Mission Podcast shorts don't do that. So
it's edifying.
shall we move on to chapter 6?
I'm down.
Let's start.
Yeah,
We got time. You want? I can read. All right, teaching about the Sabbath. On a Sabbath, while he was going through the grain fields, his disciples plucked and ate some heads of grain, rubbing them in their hands. But some of the Pharisees said, "Why are you doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath?" And Jesus answered, "Have you not read what David did when he was hungry? He entered the house of God and took and ate the showbread, which is not lawful for any but the priests to eat, and also gave it to those with him. And he said to them, the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." I guess I can start off with a question. I think he's said it multiple times up to now, but what do y'all take from when he says the Son of Man? Because Jesus is the Son of God, and then this has I've seen some explanations for it, but I've never really comprehended it other than the fact that, okay, yeah, Son of Man, Son of God, maybe they're the same, but I wanted to see what y'all thought about that.
Honestly, I have no idea. I've never thought of it like that. So
I don't really either because I know Matthew would be all over this question.
And he's been some of the I've asked him this question before and he's given a good response, but for the life of me, I cannot remember what he was saying.
Yeah, I know I've heard it at least once.
Ben, anything? Maybe we'll have to LeBron James.
The second half obviously is him saying like, "Hey, I am once again the Son of God. I am his divinity and Lord of the Sabbath." But I agree with y'all. This is one of the many times where Matthew's wisdom would lead us to the proper answer, and I wish he had texted us this one.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but
Just a quick look up says that this title is used over 80 times in the Gospels by Jesus to describe himself, primarily emphasizing his humanity and humility as mortal, while also claiming the divine authority that's in Daniel chapter 7. Daniel chapter 7, if you haven't read it, is a wild, like, it gives you what his dream was. If I'm thinking of the right chapter, I'll go check. But it gives you what his dream was, and then it goes over what it actually means. And it's about the kingdoms that will take place over the Jewish nation, or is the Israelites before the Messiah comes. So it get here. Let me see if I can find it. We might need to cut a little bit of
Watch
time
it.
out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But to your point, it's them saying he is both human and divine. It's him saying, I am the Son of Man.
Which I
So
think
I am the human, and I am the Son of God.
So mine gives like Ben, we have the same Bibles, but this skips right over the Son of Man and it goes straight to the excerpt at the bottom. It says, when Jesus said that he was Lord of the Sabbath, he was once again proclaiming his own divinity. He had authority to overrule the Pharisees' traditions and regulations because he had created the Sabbath. The Creator is always greater than his creation, but it doesn't say anything about, in quotes, the Son of Man.
yeah, mine says quote the Son of Man as well.
Yeah.
Which I
Interesting.
think, like you said, makes sense. Like, especially for Sabbath, that was a very like not necessarily man oriented because it's still a testament to Christ, but like kind of a tradition implemented from by God for man of like we were to observe that. And so if he was man, like he was under that too. But then like you just said, like he is also God, so he's also
Yeah.
created all of that.
Sorry, I don't know if we
We
want
get
to go.
sidetracked.
Do we want to go down this rabbit hole or not?
I mean,
Okay, so chapter 7 of Daniel is the vision of the four beasts. I did have it right. And the king of Babylon has a dream, or Daniel had a dream, and the visions of his head as he lay in his bed, he wrote them down. I saw in my vision by night, behold the four I saw in a vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven were stirring up in the great sea, and four great beasts came out of the sea, different from one another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Then, as I looked, its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted from the ground, and it made to stand upon 2 feet like a man. And a mind of a man was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second one like a bear. It was raised up from one side, and 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth, and was told, arise, devour much flesh. After this I looked, behold, another like a leopard, with 4 wings of a bird on its back, and the beast had 4 heads, and a dominion was given to it. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, terrifying and dreadful, exceedingly strong, and had a great iron teeth. It devoured and broke into pieces, and stamped the residue of its feet. I'm going to skip a little bit. And then it says, as I looked, thrones were placed, and one that was ancient days took his seat. His clothing was white as snow, and his hair of his head like pure wool. His throne was fiery flames, its wheels were burning fire. A stream of fire issued and came forth from before him, and thousands served him, and tens of thousands stood before him. So the 4 beasts are the 4 kingdoms that were before the Israelites, and I have this chart. We had charts before, which is great. It's on the other side. And you have the occupations. So the occupation of Babylon, Persia, Greece, and then the Romans. So the reason I said iron so loud is because he had great iron teeth. That's the Romans, because they were very good with iron and steel, all that kinds of stuff. But it's referring to that. And then as you go into verse 9, it says, as I looked, and the clothing was white as snow. So it's talking about Jesus coming back. So I think that's what part of it is with the Son of Man. That was a huge excerpt. Sorry.
You're good.
no, it's
Wow.
great.
There's a bunch of really good videos on chapter 7 of Daniel as well, if you want to look that up.
Yeah, I've heard Daniel is like one of the most like rich texts, like one of the most rich books of the Bible, especially for like prophecy and Same way symbolism and all.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
It's crazy how they knew that like years and years before. It's wild because literally in the next part of Daniel, it goes and says, "This is the interpretation of Daniel's dream." So they were already interpreting it way back then, which is crazy.
The I guess it's funny that how much it pushes forward it, and then they still, like, especially the Jewish people, still reject it. I could see if you didn't grow up in either culture where you don't know any better, or you might reject it because you grew up in a culture that's so different. If you grow up in a Jewish culture, reading it and seeing all the signs, and then just rejecting them because you know that your family will reject you, it's kind of sad. You know, prayers for them.
Yeah.
So I've got a question for you guys on this, just because I'm curious how everybody else interprets it, because I don't have a good interpretation. But verse 3, where it says, Jesus answered them, have you never read what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He entered the house of God, and taking the consecrated bread, and he ate it. He ate what is lawfully only for priests to eat, and he also gave some to his companions. So is, like, in my mind here, the way I interpret this is that Jesus is telling them, okay, well, if you're going to condemn me, you're going to condemn David. And David is a man after God's own heart. So, like, what do you guys have to say about that? Is there anything specific? Is there any other way that you interpret that? Or is that just another Jesus call out like he does with almost everything he says?
He's also saying though that David is the king of was the king of Israel. I am the king of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to reject me, you're also rejecting David because we are the same,
Mm-hmm.
right? We both hold that same title.
That's a good point.
That's a very good point.
Do not actually know. I know I've looked this up before because I always wonder. Because I'm like, he said it's not lawful for anyone but the priests to eat. Like for David. So I don't know. I'm just going to look it up.
What do you
I
mean?
will not let my pride
What do you
get
mean?
the best of me. That, like, if it's not lawful for David to eat the bread, I know the point that's being made is that, like, the Pharisees here are basically putting extra boundaries on the Sabbath so that, like, you can't even, like, get some grain from the field and eat, which you obviously can. Like, God is not going to condemn something that's not specifically unlawful
Yeah.
In their time, but further is like a thing of mercy rather than like you should have to sacrifice this and go, hungry forever. Um, but I'm confused, like what Dawson said on the part about he's using David as an example, but what David did was specifically unlawful, like to mine says Leviticus 24:9, that like it's only Aaron and his lineage that should be able to eat it. So then why would Christ choose that as the example to like turn back on the Pharisees?
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna look it up because I have no idea.
So you're saying,
James.
that why would Jesus use David's breaking of the law as a backup to?
Yeah, like as a backup to what he's doing.
Do you think it has anything to do with what Dawson said of like, or Dawson and Ben said about like they? I would assume these Pharisees obviously accept David as their predecessor and king,
Yeah.
even though he did that.
Um.
Where is it?
Yeah, that
deeper
could
than
be a good context. That like, hey, they accepted him, so like, why are you looking at me for that?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that is the. That makes a lot more sense now if you read it like that.
It's less of the comparison between grain and more of
Yeah.
a comparison of position.
Yeah, like of hey, he did this and you still accepted him, so
Yeah.
why are you questioning me?
I didn't realize. I thought David. So I just went back to First Samuel where it says it. It talks about David. And I always thought like, oh yeah, David went into like the holies of holies and took the bread. Well, here it says that the priest actually gave it to him. It says, "Now then, what have you at hand?" This is David talking. "Give me 5 loaves of bread, or whatever is here." And the priest answered and said, "I have no common bread at hand, but there is holy bread, if only the young men have kept themselves from women." And David answered the priest, of a truth, women have been kept from us, as always when I go on an expedition. The vessel of young men are holy. Even when it is a common journey, how much more today will their vessels be holy? So the priest gave him the holy bread, for there was no bread there but the bread of the presence, which is removed from before the Lord, to be replaced by hot bread on the day it is taken away. So it also sounds like at the end that this bread was being taken away already.
Okay, so what this says is essentially what y'all said, that David shouldn't have eaten the bread, but then also tied in that the Pharisees put up some 2x4s that you couldn't even like pluck the head of grain, because then you're too close to making bread, which would be like using energy and not resting on
Dude,
Sabbath.
they're doubling down.
Yeah.
They're doubling down.
And so that's what Jesus and the disciples are doing, which is not unlawful. But then what David did technically was unlawful, though like he got mercy for it. Um,
Which makes the argument even more concrete.
yeah, that like they love David,
Yeah.
and it's just makes no sense that Jesus isn't even breaking a law. David did, and they still love David and hate Jesus.
So many walls up in here.
Yeah,
People are just putting up walls left and right.
it's looking like a Fortnite building match.
Good. Well, we're getting low on time. Y'all got any last remarks on this? Am I right about that, about Lewis?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We can keep on going if you wanted to, but I think my thought is I read a little bit ahead for it. The next piece from 6 to, is it 11?
Yeah.
Matches very well. If we want to keep on going.
Go ahead and read it,
Okay.
Ben.
Okay. On another Sabbath, he entered the synagogue and was teaching. A man was there whose right hand was shriveled. The scribes and Pharisees were watching him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath, so that they could find a charge against him. But he knew their thoughts and told the man with the shriveled hand, "Get up and stand here." So he got up and stood there. Then Jesus said to them, "I ask you, is it lawful to do a good deed on the Sabbath, or to do evil, to save a life, or to destroy it?" After looking around at them, he told them, "Stretch out your hand." He did, and his hand was restored. They, however, were filled with rage and started discussing with one another what they might do to Jesus. I think it is the same way where he's calling them out in the first bit of 1 to 5 of, hey, I'm not done anything wrong.
Yeah.
You're making all these rules and regulations to try to catch me.
Hmm.
David did something wrong, and you don't have any feelings about that. What is the hypocrisy here? And then this is him going, hey, is it wrong to break a law to help those in need and to do the right thing, to do God's mission? And so it's him once again calling out their hypocrisy, so that even if he does quote unquote break a law, which once again is healing somebody really breaking the law.
And I'll get even more granular that it's specifically like the Sabbath. It's not saying like go out and like do some crazy stuff that's, against the law and whatever to help someone. Like don't go all Robin Hood necessarily, but like the Sabbath was, and the explanation said this too, it's to be a blessing and not a burden. So all the more like to heal or to eat and like be satisfied as far as like physical needs was not wrong. Even like what David did, that was technically breaking the law. However, for it to not be a burden, like it was obviously given mercy. And so same thing here, like that the Pharisees were so hung up on the law. Like, no, you can't help this man. And it's like, how could you look at someone that's suffering and say like, no, you're going to have to wait another 24 hours until we can help you. Like, no, like people had to work for the temple. They had to work. The Levites had to work every Sabbath, and so it it was not a hard and fast like, hey, this is explicitly the law, but that's what the Pharisees kind of made it, from what I understand.
Dawson, you're out at the lake and you see a child drowning, but it's a Sunday. You can't save that drowning child
Yep.
because it's the Sabbath and it's work to save them.
Yeah, but I'm gonna bring it back out a little bit and tie it into what we talked about on the last episode. Is like what again? These are rules and laws that they have set that don't have anything to do with. It's going against what Jesus is teaching here, and so what laws or rules do we have again that prevents us from doing that good versus the evil that's going to prevent us from helping those around us or prevent us from um, sharing the gospel when it's uncomfortable um, because Jesus is doing this knowing darn well that these Pharisees, it is going to absolutely infuriate them that he's doing something that goes against their rule or their law that they've doubled down on and that they've created. So
I'd also add on to that and say, like, where in your life are you setting rules or plans that like are hindering your spiritual well-being? As far as like they're setting up laws so that like you said earlier, you don't even have to think. You just have laws. Like you don't have to worry about it. Whereas like, man, like everything can be a gray area and that's okay. Like you don't want to sin, but you also don't want to build walls everywhere. And so you just need to have that time with Christ. Like
mm-hmm.
discuss it with him, like have that quiet time, but also like don't get so enveloped in I have to do this or I can't do X, Y, Z that it's more about that than Christ. Because I think that's a lot of what you're saying and what the Pharisees were missing. That like it was always the outside of the cup for them. It was always the laws, how they looked and everything. It was never, do I love Christ? Am I following Christ? It was the laws.
Mm-hmm. And I think this also, you could also look at, like, I know Matthew talks a lot about, well, when you do something, you're going to crack open the door. And yeah, you may not be letting that thing in, but what else that you're not paying attention to? Like, if you're just focused on this, what else is getting in the door? And I think you can add that to what you said about the grain. You can't even eat the grain because that's too close to making the bread, and you can't eat the bread. But like, where are we making those rules and those laws where we just like we're completely like I don't even want to talk about that because there's potential. I'm worried about me sinning instead of using that opportunity to spread the gospel or think about things like Jesus would think about, helping somebody or doing the good. So yeah, I think like everything that we talked about in 2 episodes, like it all just ties right back together.
To get personal about that, like the way I was making rules before I joined the small group, it was like don't talk to anybody about A, B, or C.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got in the small group, it was like, okay, to grow, I need to be able to be uncomfortable, like you said,
mm-hmm.
and talk about and break the rules and talk to you guys about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then come to find out some of y'all were struggling with the same things.
Yeah.
And we could work on it together and be vulnerable together.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how can we crack open the door to those difficult conversations or the things that make us uncomfortable? I think that's okay as long as you have the right heart posture and you're in the right frame of mind and you've got a good foundation of faith. I mean, if you're not comfortable and you're like, yeah, I know that is not going to be good for me because I'm not strong enough for that. Obviously, we all need to spend more time in the Word and praying and stuff. But yeah, I mean, talking about the things that are uncomfortable, I think if you're surrounded by people that are like-minded and that believe in the same thing as you and are willing to, back you up when you need it, and kind of help you to where you need to go and to grow, then I think it's necessary and you have to have it. So
Yeah, and I think, like you said, we're not saying don't have boundaries because absolutely there are things you should not go and do, and like
yeah,
you know your struggles better than anyone else. If it's something, there are people that shouldn't go and sit with tax collectors and the sinners around Jesus. That is okay. We're not Jesus. But like you say, I think there are conversations to be had of like, hey, we have personal boundaries that aren't biblical necessarily and can be. I was saying something about having boundaries and they aren't necessarily biblical and they can be like above and beyond what Christ calls us to. That like definitely keep your normal boundaries as I just stated of like if it's somewhere you're gonna stumble and fall, don't go, you know your boundaries. But anything like we were talking about with Dawson and like you said, Tanner, of were things specific to me or us that we think, hey, like I was raised this way, it feels weird to talk about XYZ, like lust, sex, marriage, etc. Like, hey, there are times and places it is absolutely okay to talk about. And so those are the boundaries you want to like think and pray about and learn and grow on. Because as you said, like it can be super beneficial and especially good if you have like a good community. And like Dawson said, like good godly community, that is the place to bring it up. So.
All right, I think we're gonna cut it there. Thank you for joining us. Send us your questions, comments, prayer requests to themission615@gmail.com, and also let us know what you think. Let us know if you want us to cover a certain thing. And we'll catch you next time on The Mission.